All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today on Bridge of Testimonies. The whole purpose of this is to get people on that are going to give their testimony of their faith, things that God has done in their lives. Today, I am alone. Aubrey is sick, unfortunately, but we have a fantastic guest, someone who's been a light to so many people around him and a light in our lives as well. Someone from across the country. We're getting a little bit outside of Texas now, which is nice, but Tim, thank you so much for being on.
I, I'm glad to be here.
Well, I really appreciate that you were so gung ho about being on here, especially with everything that you're going on, or everything going on in your life. I want to make sure that we just let people know about just a little bit of about behind the scenes, not everything. Tim is in the hospital. He's been in and out, and right now he's actually in the hospital and wanting to talk about his testimony, wanting to go forward with this and kind of get a little bit of his experience out. So just that's absolutely amazing on your end. I want to let you know.
I'm glad to thank Tom for it.
Well, we'll jump right into it. So I know that we have talked a little bit behind the scenes about what this could look like, and I really want to open this up and just make sure that we give you the floor to talk a little bit about how God has impacted your life. So, really, what's your journey with God been so far in your life?
So, growing up, I actually been going to church, but like being young, I've always never known about church. So it's like I'm always like, well, I want to get out of here. I want to go do my own thing. You know, I mean, I never got into it, and then but it was my parents that always took me to church, and then it was about my teenage years. Well, first off, I have spina bifida, so I'm in a wheelchair. So I can't walk or anything. But during my teenage years, I've dabbled into sin and everything that has to do with that. And then it was about my early 20s. I was watching TV and something hit me that is, they said, let Jesus, it's like a car. You're taking you're taking the steering wheel, but you need to let Jesus take the steering wheel of your life.
I've heard of that before. I absolutely have. And how did that resonate with you? I mean, would you you were you saw this, and of course you've held on to it all of these years. What does that mean to you?
It means a lot to me because hearing that, I've uh, let, left that past of sin behind, and I've of course I tried to read my Bible and I struggle reading that, but I've always loved church since then. I've always been wanting to go, and I've always been praying more, and I try to read my Bible and listen to music and everything that has to do with Jesus. I try to get into it.
Has that been easy for you? I mean, I know that I know that of course you've been going to church for a very long time, but what does it look like for you having health issues and having to go back and forth between the hospital? Does it ever get hard for you?
It does, but I've been in and out of hospital all my life, so I know the in and outs of you know being in the hospital. And of course, some things weren't easy, but I've always looked up to Jesus to get me through it.
Of course, a lot to rely on, and you have to give your struggles over. And I want to know. You said that you had struggled with reading the Bible, so that's something that a lot of people, especially new believers, have issues with. But I know that you have just extensive knowledge and extensive experience. But I want to know what parts of the Bible do you have trouble reading? Is it just staying consistent? Is it like Old Testament or New Testament, or is it just the understanding of it?
It's pretty much a little bit of everything. Like I'm not. It's with like any book. I don't have like the uh I can't stay reading long, you know. It
Mhm.
just my attention span just goes elsewhere. And also I've always, not much as now, but I've always had struggles where I've had incon- like I had trouble learning like inconsistencies I'd find, but talking to my pastor, I've always learned different ways to through the Bible, and learning that most of what I've struggled with is nothing more than just, you know, knowledge and learning.
What does prayer look like for you? Is it something that you stay consistent in? Is it something that you think about often, or is it something that you've struggled with some of your life, like reading the Bible?
Prayer is I'm still struggling with prayer, but prayer I try to pray much as I can. Um, still have trouble like knowing, okay, I'm talking to Jesus or God, you know, and I need to. Sometimes I lose track, and I just feel like I'm just talking in thin air. But I always try to still pray and hope that I'm praying the right way, or which there's no right way of praying. You know, it's just a conversation. But I've always struggled with my words, and you know, trying to get my brain to go with my heart and connect it to, so I can pray when I'm trying to, you know, say.
I can definitely understand that. That's been a big struggle for me, is trying to find the right words, and sometimes it's almost like you're trying to impress God in certain ways by how you're talking to Him, or things like that. But one of the biggest things that I learned just in this last maybe year and a half, is the value of silence in prayer, and just allowing God to kind of speak into your heart, and allowing Him to just, I guess, work on you in a different way. I can't really explain it too well, but that silence, I think, brings some value. I know some people, they'll set up like an extra chair next to them and they'll pray, or they'll, go into a closet, turn off all the lights, and they'll just sit in there. And some people say that they feel there's presence that way, or anything like that. But it's been very interesting to hear how you, someone that, I know a lot of people create the argument that, hey, this happened to me, and so I'm angry at God. And this is something that I had referenced in our first live testimony, where Bill had cancer, and he had a stroke and things like that, and yet he didn't turn away from God. He instead embraced Him and praised Him in those times. And it sounds like you're on a very similar path, that even through all of these struggles, you being in and out of the hospital, and of course you having struggles with like reading the Bible and things, you're still wanting it and you're still pursuing it, which I think is just amazing. But I want to know, what is your favorite thing about your faith up to this point?
Well, my favorite thing is music. That's what helps me the most is hearing Christian music.
Mm.
Um, I always loved going to Christian music anytime I feel down, or I'm going through like this. For example, I'm going to the hospital, you know, and I always try to, you know, when I'm going through surgery, I always have the surgery team put Christian music on as I'm, you know, going to sleep, you know, and I um just try to stick with it.
That was a great answer. I really think that worship music resonates in a lot of people. Aubrey, for example, if she would have been here, absolutely, with her ability to sing and do all of those things. But what would your favorite worship song? Is there one that you typically go to during surgeries, or is it just anything across the board?
Ooh, that's a good one because I have many good Christian music I like. Like I've shown you many Christian music I've liked over the years of knowing you, and I would say there's one I forget the name of it right now, but there's one by Phil Wickham where at the end, Billy Graham prays, gives you a prayer to pray, and I just love that song.
Absolutely. You actually introduced that song to me, and I appreciate you so much for putting that song onto my worship playlist because for anyone out there that has not heard it, it is "What If I Told You" featuring Billy Graham. And Billy Graham, I mean, I know you've listened to him because of that song, and
Mm.
what an amazing individual. Is that someone? Do you ever go back and watch sermons or anything while you're in the hospital, or just in general? Do you go and watch certain people? Is there a certain pastor that you like the best?
Yeah, I mean, I like Billy Graham. I do listen to I had a recent pastor that left the church, and we got a new one, but I always listen to him because I was close to him. And but I used to listen to Stephen Furtick, and I've always learned more listening to pastors about certain topics. And when I want to know about, and when I want to know about a certain topic, I'll go to listen to a pastor wherever I need to get the answer I need.
Mm. Okay. Well, I want to know up to this point, what if you had to tell anyone about what you've been through and how God has impacted you in a positive way, what would you say that impact has been? Has it been your spirit? Has it been courage? Has it been just transformation? What does it look like to you?
I'm trying to get down, trying to understand, you know.
Yeah.
Uh, so it's been it's a big thing for me because being in the hospital all these years, I wouldn't have been able to get through most of it if it wasn't for my faith in Jesus, and just what He's done for me is nothing short than amazing.
I will say, I think outside looking in, I think courage is a huge one because not only have you been outward in your kindness and your faithfulness, which is a hard thing to do, especially nowadays with most people. I think the other side to this is you would agree while you're in the hospital, while you're dealing with all of these things, to come on and want to talk about Jesus and want to talk about your experience and how he's made your life better. And it's also extremely courageous for you to stay deep in your faith and make sure that none of the scenarios in this world are taking you away from that path. That's something I really admire about you.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely. And also, you have a great taste in worship music. You've given me a lot of really great recommendations. I'm actually a bigger Phil Wickham fan now because of you. So if he ever watches this video, you can go ahead and send him an invoice for that because he's made a little bit of money off of me.
Thank you. I do want to say, what if I that song "What If I Told You" by Phil Wickham.
Mhm.
Uh, there's more music that needs that Billy Graham message. So I don't think music today is ever. I mean, they teach you the gospel, but they don't like give you something to pray about. You know what I mean? Like the Billy Graham message at the end. Like music today doesn't have that.
I think that is so interesting that you said that, and I think God works in ways that we don't understand. Last night, I was speaking to a musician that I know, and he was saying that a lot of worship songs are 1,000 feet wide but 1 inch deep. They don't have a lot of the scripture and the substance to them, and I think that song, that one was an example of it being 1,000 feet wide, 1,000 feet deep, because the first time I heard that and the message from Billy Graham being attached onto it, where it was an altar call in that case. I think so cool and so out there and nothing I had ever heard before. And I think that's why it resonates with me because if I'm feeling bad and I just need to pray, but I am just having a hard time, I'm going there. I'm going to go listen to that song and I'm going to follow Billy Graham. And I think that's so cool because Tim, you gotta think about the inspiration that you had on my life. And because of you, I actually started listening to Billy Graham sermons. And because of you, I started to learn more about how he would teach and how he would preach. And the substance that he had was just so good. And I can see why he impacted so many people. But the only reason I was ever exposed to that is through you. So I have to thank you for that.
Well, I'm glad I got to send you that.
Yeah,
It's
of
an honor
course.
to send it.
Of course. Yeah. And of course, Tim, I always continue to be the person that you are. Always continue through everything to pursue Jesus and to be outspoken about it and to be so kind and so nice to so many people. I I want to know before we go ahead and wrap this up, is there anything else that you'd like to talk about?
Not, I can't really think of a certain thing, but
Mhm.
there's one instance I want to talk about is a couple surgeries ago. I went to surgery. I think it was on my back. Yeah, I was on my back, and of course I didn't know at the time, but when I woke up, they had told me that I had passed for like maybe 4 minutes, and between going to sleep for surgery and waking up, I didn't know. Like it was just like a snap. I mean, I didn't, and I thought that was like a God thing because I mean to be through that and just like not know is something.
Of course. Of course. Absolutely. Yeah, that's the first I have ever heard in person. I've heard of things on social media and everything like that, but the fact that you'd passed for 4 minutes, just absolutely crazy. And during that time, because I have to ask, during that time, I mean, I know that you were probably under anesthesia the whole time. Was there anything, or did you just feel like you were asleep?
Uh, I just feel like no time has passed since I went to sleep to waking up. Like you hear some people saying, "Oh, I went to heaven and I seen this and that," and of course I didn't get to experience that, but I mean, just to know that, I mean, I was able to, you know, feel like nothing happened.
Mhm.
It was, I was really uh, blessed to have been able to be back alive and get through
You
that.
you yeah, you have a lot left that God wants you to do, and you have a lot more people to impact. And of course, today you got to share a little bit of your testimony and things that you've been through. And there might be other people that are out there that are battling the same issues that you are that'll be able to see this video, and you're going to be such a light to those people because there's a whole lot of dark in the world, and I gotta say you're a big light for a lot of people, and you always will be. So I know for a fact God still has plans for you. So as you continue to go through this, of course we'll be praying for you on this end, as you already know. If you're watching this video, please continue to pray for Tim that he gets fully recovered and that he's able to go out and live his life to the fullest as he wants to. But Tim, I really appreciate you coming on today, having the courage to talk about your testimony and some of these things that have happened in your life. And of course, this probably won't be the last time that we have you on. In all honesty,
I'll be better prepared for next time, I promise.
no, you did a phenomenal job, and thank you so much for everything. I really do appreciate it, Tim. You have a great night.
You too.
And that is that. Thank you so much to Tim for coming on and having the courage to share his testimony. If you're someone that has something in your life that God has worked on, which we all do, I would love to hear about it. Aubrey would love to hear about it. And if you could reach out to us, we would love to hear that. We want to make sure that we're spreading this around so that we can get as many people sharing their testimony as possible. But thank you, and y'all have a blessed night.
I've been walking through the shadows of my own mistakes, trying hard